What's going on YouTube? It's been a while. Well, actually, I've been releasing content pretty much every day, but I haven't been speculating about characters that might have a chance at making it into multiverses. And honestly, I like to shake it up a little bit. Instead of top fives or, third-party characters, let's be a little bit more specific and narrow it down this time around. Let's just talk about video game characters in general. I have a couple video game characters I'd be super interested in seeing make an appearance in multiverses. And honestly, it would be a dream come true if all of these characters got in. But of course, it's probably unlikely. However, a man can dream, right? And so, with dreams, I'm gonna start off with Cammy White from Street Fighter. I have basically gotten into the Street Fighter series more seriously, I want to say probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I instantly gravitated towards Cammy. Cammy is a very fast character, and she feels very rewarding to play. I actually like her character design a lot, and costume design, of course. Trolls, I don't want to hear it. But I think that she would make for a very exciting character due to the fact that not only is her gameplay lightning fast, her backstory is pretty cool, being a female clone of M. Bison. Of course, you wouldn't really weave her story into multiverses per se, but it would be really cool to see her interactions with other characters. And of course, just getting a Capcom character into multiverses would also be a dream come true for me, because Capcom is probably my favorite video game publisher, like period. I love Capcom to death, like really love Capcom. And so it would be super sick to see my Street Fighter main Cammy White make it into multiverses. And I think that when you look at other Street Fighter characters that have been put in other platform fighters, you have Ryu and Ken and Smash Brothers, then you have like costumes for Ryu, Akuma, and Chun-Li and Brawlhalla. I think having Cammy in this game specifically would be super cool, because all those other characters are already represented in other platform fighters. Give Cammy this one. And I mean, if you want to steal Chun-Li also, I'm not gonna complain. Up next is actually going to be another Capcom character. It's my favorite character in one of my favorite franchises of all time. Honestly, when it comes to video games, Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil are pretty much tied for me. I love them both dearly, and I would love to see Leon S. Kennedy in multiverses. We haven't had a Resident Evil character in a fighting game since Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Of course, you had him in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as well with Jill Valentine, who also, if she ended up in the game, I'd be happy too. However, Leon is such a badass, he's smooth, and he would be a sick ass character to get added into the roster. And I think for a moveset for a Resident Evil character, there's a lot to venture through, because one, I actually don't think developing them would be easy. Granted, they're human, but sometimes they got some superhuman strength. You can watch Chris punch a boulder and you'll understand why that's been memed for so long. But, as people that didn't get infected by the T-virus specifically, they're capable of a lot of stuff. The BSAA is nuts, and so with Leon pretty much being like a secret agent, especially working directly under the president, he got skills. And if you play Resident Evil 4, which of course is one of the best games in the franchise, Resident Evil 2 also featuring Leon, one of the best in the franchise, he's been through some shit. And it would be very nice to see him in multiverses where he'll also be going through some shit, but it won't be like all the other stuff in the other games. And it would just be nice to see some Resident Evil representation in a platform fighter, because let's face it, Resident Evil pretty much is the survival horror game. It is clouded for a reason, and of course, it has cemented its legacy in the video game industry. So please, let's get Resident Evil in multiverses. Up next, man, don't flame me for this. Let's get Kindred from League of Legends into multiverses. Now I know what you're thinking. That is such a random ass champion. Let me explain, and I got the tattoo here because I am a fan. So when Kindred first got introduced into League of Legends, I was a fan. From the lore behind the character to just the overall design between the wolf and the lamb, the dialogue between both of the characters, because it's kind of like a duo, but it's not a duo. And I just think overall the character was so beautifully crafted. I would love to see that represented in multiverses in a platform fighter. Of course, the League of Legends, or Riot, basically is making Project L, so they're making a fighting game, but it isn't a platform fighter, so it would not function the same way. And to have that crossover representation of League of Legends, which is like League of Legends actually took the free-to-play model and really just took off with it. And so basically having representation in this game from the free-to-play game that started it all, I think would be so dope. And you could choose a lot of champions. Like I would have picked Ahri too, like straight up. But when it comes to Kindred, I think Kindred is just one of those characters that doesn't get a lot of love, and so I would love to see that love put into multiverses in a character that I think could be super duper duper unique in a platform fighter. Number 4 is going to be Morrigan Aensland. Darkstalkers is a forgotten gem in the fighting fighting game community. In fact, if you actually play Darkstalkers games today, you'll see that the sprite work holds up very well. It's kind of nice, right? Halloween is my favorite holiday. Horror games are my favorite genre. It's like you take a fighting game and you take some of the most beloved ideas of like monsters and you throw them into a game and bam, there you go. With sick movesets and sick costume design, Morrigan is a character that of course I gravitated to immediately, and I would love to see her represented in Multiversus, especially coming from a game that has been so far forgotten. Of course, it's in the Capcom fighting game collection right now. You should cop that. Play Darkstalkers, guys. Trust me, you are missing out. Street Fighter is hype, trust and believe, but Capcom released some banger fighting games back in the day that a lot of people don't know about, and I really don't want Darkstalkers to just go under the radar for so long, because we could get a modernized version of the game, maybe, if people show support and enough interest. And what better way to generate such interest than putting her in a fighting game in modern day that's fire and a platform fighter? We can think about Marvel vs. Capcom all we want, but let's take it up a notch, put her in a platform fighter, and of course, let's get that Darkstalkers representation in a Multiversus. Next up is going to be Omori. If you guys don't know, Omori is, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best modernized RPG I've ever played to date, especially from an indie game company from NAKAT. Honestly, the game means a lot to me. A lot. And my friends over there developed something very, very special, and I would love to see Omori make it into a platform fighter with the unique mechanic of emotions dictating certain debuffs or just certain weaknesses and strengths over, you know, said characters. I think that it would be so sick to see that character be represented in this game full of legacy IPs. Not to mention the music is 100% fire, so if you get Omori music into Multiversus, you are going to be jamming out for a long time. Guys, go on Steam and buy Omori, by the way. The game is incredible. Omori is a very deep character. I'll call him that. I ain't spoiling that game for y'all. It gets deep. So yeah, it'd be super cool to see him in the game. He'd fight with a knife too. That'd be kind of, I mean, I can't say anything. Harley's got guns and bats. Can we really be crying over like a knife? I think we can make that work 100%. Yeah, let's get Omori into Multiversus. I'm leading the charge on that. Up next and lastly, I'm gonna actually pull a Soul Calibur character. I'm gonna pull Ivy Valentine. Ivy Valentine having that chain. Now, I don't want to say it's like Lasso, because obviously it's not. That whip is actually sinister. So with Ivy, I think, well, Ivy Valentine. Come on now. Character's sick. Like, really? Excellent fighting style. Cool fighting style. Amazing costume design. What more could you want, right? And not to mention, I actually feel like Soul Calibur does not get a lot of love. Like, there's a bunch of characters you can take from the Soul Calibur series and you can make it work. Keely was one of my favorite characters in Soul Calibur 2. However, I ended up maining Ivy through each game that I played, and Soul Calibur 2 being my favorite in the series. Oh, what a throwback. I love that game. It would be super dope to see that game also get some love in the platform fighter genre, and it's really cool, right? Because Cammy White, Ivy Valentine, they come from, you know, traditional fighters, but the traditional fighters function differently. You can get ringed out in Soul Calibur, and of course it's kind of more like 3D-esque, whereas Street Fighter always stays on that 2D plane. It would be super sick to see how that translates over into a platform fighter that would feature both of them coming from those really different traditional fighters. And so with that attitude and that sass and that confidence that we love from Ivy, let's get all of that and throw it into Multiversus. And that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you agree with any of these picks. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and of course let me know what video game characters specifically you would want to see represented in Multiversus. This is NAKAT, road to 25k. If I ain't there already by the time this video drops, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Most of you guys watch, but you're not subscribing. And so if you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub button, because after 25k, we're on the road to 50. And I can only make that dream a reality with you guys. Take it easy. Peace out. Deuces.